People ask me the question all the time, is Etsy too saturated? And for some niches and vague categories, the answer is yes. Absolutely. I mean, come on guys, how many mama bear shirts could we possibly need? But as an Etsy SEO strategist and a manager at erank.com, I have access to some pretty cool tools that help me to catch some of the lesser known products with high searches and low competition. And in this video, I'm sharing products that have more average monthly searches than they do competitors, meaning that you can easily rank in search and hopefully make major bucks on Etsy if you start making any of these items. For those who are new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And one of my jobs over at eRank is to analyze current trends, as well as forecast the items that we expect to see trending over the coming months. Remember, when it comes to generating momentum on Etsy with new listings, it can take Etsy 60 to even 90 days to collect enough data about your new listing to assign it a listing quality score. Which means that if you want to ski up the slope for, say, Valentine's Day shoppers, you're going to need to start planning these new products now. If you want to learn more about how Etsy's algorithm works so you can make sure that you're planning for success in 2025, be sure to grab my free Etsy SEO toolbox up here. But for today's video, we're going to be focusing exclusively on the products that have fallen through the cracks. Items where there is more demand than there are available products, making it extremely easy to succeed in these industries. Use them to shape new items for your own shop or to start a new shop using these ideas as your niche. And just a quick disclaimer, every time that I post a trend video, the comments are filled with people asking, what about trends for digital planners? Or what about trends for shirts? When it comes to highly saturated industries, competition will be high. And finding a search term where searches outrank competition levels is extremely difficult. For example, I was not able to find a single example containing the word shirt that had searches outranking competition. However, by listening closely to the items and overall themes that are trending, you can easily incorporate those into other industries like shirts. So let's dive in. Kicking off our list, the term eat a bag has an average of 10,713 monthly searches, with only 3,137 competitive listings, which is absolutely insane. Eat-a-bags have become wildly popular over the last few years, providing enamel pin collectors with a way to display their collections on the go, without the risk of losing them. And my daughter and I may be a bit obsessed with them too. So if you have a knack for sewing, consider carving out an extremely profitable position in the eat-a-bag niche, especially since the average price of these bags on Etsy is $65 to $80 each. Next up are two products falling into the mossy motif. Remember how I mentioned that you can borrow overarching themes from other trending products? Moss is one of those trending ideas that everyone should be writing down, whether it's for print on demand and apparel or for traditional crafters. The term moss rug is highly searched with very little competition, bringing in an average of 3,809 monthly searches, versus just 992 competitive listings sharing that term. With the popularity of rug making over the last few years, these textured mossy rugs are a great way to build a niche around nature. And stacking into that niche, the term moss blanket also has more demand than competition, with 806 average monthly searches versus 669 competitors. Another mossy product idea that you could shape an entire business model around in time for 2025. The next set of items is going to help paint a clearer picture of what's trendy overall on Etsy, because we just covered moss, and our next trending item fits perfectly with moss. On Etsy, the term mushroom motifs receives an average of 1,787 monthly searches, with only 660 competitive listings. And motifs is such a broad term that could be used to describe nearly any product, especially those falling into the home decor category. Stacking with mushroom motifs is the more specific phrase, mushroom lamp, bringing in around 4,931 monthly searches with just 2,449 competitors. Between moss and mushrooms, you could build an entire profitable business from just these 2 themes alone. Next, here are 4 trends for digital pattern creators, with crochet-related searches including crochet shark amigurumi pattern, moose crochet pattern, bumblebee crochet pattern, and Highland cow crochet pattern. All 4 of these terms are highly searched, but have very little competition on Etsy. So if you're a digital seller who also loves to crochet, these may be all great options to list in 2025. A more surprising and very niche theme for our crafty sellers who sew is the term guinea pig cage liner, which are fabric fittings that can be created in some of the most popular cage dimensions for small pets. On Etsy, the term sees an average monthly search volume of 1,126 searches, with only 914 competitors. So if you have a passion for little critters and you want to dive headfirst into an industry that prioritizes the comfort of pets, this may be a great product to list in 2025. Following the trend of pets, I've been noticing these cool cat wall shelves everywhere online. And with as many woodworkers that are on Etsy, you'd think that the niche would already be saturated by now. However, the term cat wall shelves, cat shelves, and cat wall furniture all have more demand than there are products to fill that demand. Not to mention, the average price for cat wall furniture on Etsy is $25 to $329. I've seen these cat shelves get pretty elaborate, and pricing will definitely depend on your creativity. But with the demand so high, I can definitely see this easily becoming a 6-figure niche for those with a passion for woodworking and cats. Another very specific item on the trend radar is the term cute pill box. With less stigma around the need for daily medications, young buyers want something a little more fancy than the standard 7-day pill organizer that grandma kept on her nightstand. And the term sees 650 monthly searches, with just 602 competitors. Additionally, the related term cute pill organizer is even less saturated, with 514 monthly searches and just 283 competitive listings. This may be a great niche for those who work with wood, clay, pottery, acrylic, or even resin on Etsy. And speaking of resin, the term resin keycap has remained a highly searched, low-competition keyword for several years, telling us that this trend isn't a fluke. I mean, I personally have resin keycaps on my own keyboard right now. The term sees around 2,500 average monthly searches, with only 1,644 competitors that are nowhere near close to meeting demand. Starting a resin keycap business is a lot of work, but with PC gaming more popular than ever, this seems like an evergreen industry that anyone could easily jump on if they had the skill to do it. The last trend on our list has seen a huge spike in searches over the last month that seem to come out of nowhere. And though the competition for this one is pretty high, it's something that every seller needs to start listing this month if they want to have a chance of competing. But before I share this final 2025 trend, and since I don't do any of the paid sponsorship stuff that most YouTubers do, today's video is sponsored by me! For those who have been waiting, my self-paced coaching program is closing for the season tonight, December 10th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Basically, midnight of the 11th Eastern. Tonight. The Handmade Alpha Academy is my 9-module guided training program that teaches sellers a foundational knowledge of brand psychology, marketing, and funnel building. HAA isn't a little how to start a shop crash course. It's an entire mindset. It's a daily plan that will help to keep you on a timeline of growth and accountability. And following the program is as easy as following along as I guide you through that process step by step. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, I teach you how to define your target audience, how to use proven psychological triggers in your shop and marketing to attract that ideal customer, and how to build a perpetual traffic funnel so that you have more control over the money that you make from your business. The Handmade Alpha Academy is currently the only Etsy course in the world built on a foundation of neuromarketing, teaching you the essential whys behind your decision-making in order to understand how those brand choices directly affect the emotions of the customers that you'd like to attract. In the Handmade Alpha Academy, I don't teach success secrets. I teach data, science, and behavioral psychology, because success secrets are subjective, but science Science doesn't lie, which is why we have over 1,200 students, many of whom run their businesses full-time. Not to mention, I'm so invested in your Etsy success that I personally buy each of my students a 12-month eRank Pro subscription. And I provide you with annual access to our yearly Alpha Holiday Bootcamp, as well as the Product Photography Essentials Workshop by Coach Christina Nicole. So if you dig my teaching style and this sounds like something that you may be interested in checking out for your own business, I've added a link up here and down below somewhere where you can learn more about the program, our success stories, and the class curriculum. Okay, back to business. The final term may come as a surprise, especially since it's only early December. But over at eRank, we're already getting alerts warning us that the term Valentine's Day is already being highly searched. Yes, you heard me right. It's not even Christmas, and shoppers are already buying Valentine's Day gifts, which is great news for those who sell giftable items that would normally lose momentum after the busy holiday season. In fact, over in the Handmade Alpha Academy student Facebook group, one of our own alumni just shared that she just received an order for Valentine's Day cards. So if you're wondering when to start listing Valentine's Day items on Etsy, the time is now. Until next time, Pookie.